You haters! This video is not for kids! Go find another toilet to shit on!
Bill and Ben, the quarry twins, were feeling bothered. The new diesel that was bought to help them had been sent to the works due to teething troubles, and now both engines had to do all the hard work by themselves again. One day, the Fat Controller came to the quarry to talk to the twins.
Good morning, you two.
Good morning, sir.
The next few days are going to be very busy for you two. Fortunately, if everything is going as planned, the diesel will be helping you after he comes back from the works. Today, you two will, in addition to your normal jobs, have to shunt a goods train for Thomas. He will collect it in the evening. Same thing tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it, sir.
Splendid. I'll speak with you two later.
Great. Now we got to do more work.
Ah, don't you worry. We managed just fine before that diesel everything came here. So this is going to be a chuff in the park.
Still exhausting.
And so, both engines began with their jobs. The two engines were putting a great effort into their work. Later, BoCo arrived to collect his goods train.
Greetings, you two. How's it going?
Well, without the dumb diesel helping us, everything is like it was before.
But we are just managing. Fine, of course.
Well, that's good to hear. Oh, by the way, I've heard that diesel will probably have to stay in the works for another week or so. The class is showing to be very troublesome. Other railways are having troubles with them too, I've heard.
Very smart of Sir Topham.
Anyway, I'm guessing those are my trucks?
Yep, ready to be taken away.
Good, I'm off then. I'll see you two later.
So BoCo left. The two twins then began shunting Thomas's goods train. That evening, Thomas arrived to collect his train.
Good evening, you two.
Oh, good evening, Thomas.
Hello, Thomas.
That's your train right there. It's ready to go.
All right, then I'll see you two tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Good night.
The next day, work began very early. The twins were shunting trucks when suddenly the Fat Controller arrived.
Good morning, you two.
Good morning,
Good morning, sir.
Thomas won't be able to make it in time, so you two will take his train today. The trucks need to be delivered to a construction site on Duck's branch line.
All right, sir.
Okay, sir.
Good engines. I'll see you two around.
Goodbye, sir. And he's gone.
Let's get to work then.
There was so much to do and not much time. So the twins hurried themselves until Bill was just getting his trucks loaded under a hopper when Ben came puffing around the corner shunting some trucks in reverse, on the same track as his brother. Just as Bill's last truck was being loaded, Ben
Oh, shit!
the last load poured down upon both engines. After the huge dust cloud had dissolved, the twins sat dazed and surprised, covered in dust and dozens of paint scratches.
Are you kidding me? Look at us, we look absolutely terrible!
Sorry, I didn't see you.
The chaos was soon settled, but both engines looked terrible.
Oh, but there's no time to clean up!
I'm afraid he's right. You two are late already.
No, if this day couldn't get any worse!
The two engines went right back to work. In the evening, they finished shunting their train. They quickly coupled up, and then they were off.
Come on!
Full steam ahead!
Beautiful, isn't it, Ben?
Yes, it is.
I can see dark clouds in the distance. We should hurry.
Alright, let's go faster then.
On their way back, they passed the coast again. Big black clouds covered the sky, and it started to rain.
The clay pits are too far away from here. We should look for cover at Tidmouth.
Fortunately, the engine shed was empty. The twins were happy about this. They parked themselves in the shed, and a few moments later, the storm broke out. Thomas popped into the shed a little later.
What are you doing here? And why do you look like this?
The twins explained to Thomas what had happened.
Bus my buffers! You've had quite an adventure. Many thanks, by the way, for delivering my train.
No problem, Thomas.
I assume that a new paint job is just what you two need.
Oh, that would be nice. Imagine a new yellow coat of paint.
Or maybe a different colour.
Yes, we could try something new. What do you think, Thomas?
I don't want to talk you into it. I would be happy with the yellow paintwork as well as a different colour scheme. I've been happy with my blue coat for years.
You're right, but you've had your blue paint for a few years now, haven't you?
Yes, but that wasn't always the case. It was a long time ago when I was painted differently.
Please, can you tell us about it?
Gladly, but that could take a while.
Don't worry, we've got nothing better to do today.
So many years ago, before I came onto this railway, I was painted green and had the number 70. At that time, I was working at a marshalling yard in England under the director Peter Borton. but at the time he found it necessary to purchase as many locomotives as possible, Mr. Borton went bankrupt a few months later, and we were faced with an uncertain future.
Who were we, exactly?
They were other tank engines like me, but we lost each other after that. In the confusion of buying and selling, I ended up in Barrow one day. I was put up for sale there. That evening, I was shunted in the engine shed. To my astonishment, there were only large tender engines. They treated me very well and sometimes made jokes and very rarely mocked my size. Days and weeks went by like that, until one day a big blue tender engine with the number 4 on his tender rolled past me and eyed me suspiciously, but said nothing. This locomotive would later turn out to be Gordon. Anyway, I met him in the shed that evening. He introduced himself and asked me questions. The next morning, he left with an express train to Sodor. A few days later, Edward arrived with Sir Topham Hatt. Gordon must have told him that I was up for sale, and now the Fat Controller wanted to buy me. When the paperwork was done, he strode towards me. He had a warm smile, but also looked very important. He stood in front of me and asked the following.
Good morning, little tank engine. Will you work hard if I buy you?
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
That's a good engine. What's your name?
Thomas, sir.
Well, Thomas, I am Sir Bertram Topham Hatt, your new controller. You will now work for my railway as a shunting engine. This is Edward. He was my first engine. He will take you to the yard and show you the ropes.
After my first days of successful working in the yard, the Fat Controller ordered my repainting. So I was painted in NWR blue and given the number 1, and I've been working here ever since.
That was an interesting story.
Indeed it was.
That would be a good idea, to have us painted blue.
Let's ask the Fat Controller tomorrow.
You two do that, but now, go to sleep. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The next morning, the two engines looked for the Fat Controller. He was standing at Dampflok station.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, you two. What are you doing here, and why do you look like that?
The twins explained what had happened.
Could we maybe have a new coat of paint, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
That should be possible. The new diesel, Derek, has been repaired, and can therefore take over for you. And I have also ordered a new engine to help you at the clay pits.
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
The next day, the twins were ready for their new livery. But when they arrived at the works, it turned out that the blue NWR colour had been used for painting trucks. Now it was all gone. But the workmen still had dark blue paint. The twins were therefore painted dark blue. They liked their new paint very much.
Bill, we haven't looked this good in a long time.
Yes, Bill. You're right.
During the afternoon, the two visited Thomas at Dampflok station.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas,
Look at our new paint job.
Hello, you two. Your new coat looks great.
You really think so?
Of course. Blue is the only colour for a really useful engine. Everyone knows that.
The twins were able to carry out their work happily with their new paintwork. However, a new adventure will soon await them. But that will have to wait until next time.